My name is Shanks Rajendran. I got my sniper gear ready. This is real business. I'm serious. I got this from Ross.
Man, what's good?
Yeah. I got co-host. His name is Harv Hustle, and he's been in the military too. So Harv Hustle, go ahead, man. Tell Vaughn T.
Name Harv Hustle. I'm out here in Austin. I'm ex-military. Served in Iraq. You know what I'm saying? Back in '03. Field artillery, combat vet. Just been home since '04 and fighting the VA and doing music. I do music too, man. So it's like, I've been in the game for a while with the music. I've moved around with it. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right. So initially it was just going to be me and Vaughn T, but then, I've known you for so long. I was like, wait, these guys have to link up because, they both make great music and this and that. And of course, Vaughn T, please introduce yourself, man.
So my name's Vaughn T. I've been in the military for 17 years. I started enlisted as an 88 Mike truck driver.
Okay.
And then I went to college, commissioned as an officer, first joined as chemical, and then eventually branched off into military intelligence. As far as my music goes, I've been doing music since 2018 when I established my own music label. I established my own music label before I ever released any single. And then when I did, I thought I was going to be able to make 20 years in the military and kind of nurture my musical adventure as far as my talent goes to just seamlessly transition over into music. That didn't happen because in 2019, when I dropped my single called Turn Off the Lights, when it hit World Star, I got over 1 million views.
Yeah.
And then when that happened, that's when I started to face a lot of racial discrimination within America. So that's when my name really started to make it known for itself. And so when I started to face the racial discrimination issues that I faced in America, I came public with it.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I never let that deter me from the music. I still was making music. I was still getting bigger and bigger. I was still doing shows with BET. I was still doing shows with major A-list artists, and it just kind of took off from there. And now stuff is just so crazy now. Like the career is moving so fast. I'm currently still active duty, but I'm trying to get out, medically retire, so I can go ahead and pursue this full time. But as I was going through my discrimination issue, I did not want this situation to be unnoticed. So I decided to come forward with it and speak about my situation. So hopefully it'll help somebody else who's in the military who aspires to do something outside of government work.
Last year, I got my citizenship from Australia. And
congratulations. Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Yeah.
And I had to do the test, right? I had to study the test. And it says amendments to the Constitution of the United States of America. And the first one is Amendment 1, religion and expression. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceable to assembly and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So how do you feel about that?
I'll let him go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as freedom of speech goes, I got an album I made a few years back called Freedom of Speech, man, and how, I feel like, one wrong thing you say and they can try to demolish your whole character, man. And it's like the real freedom of speech in this country there really isn't a real freedom of speech out here. You know what I'm saying? Because everything's judged. I was kind of low key in the military, man. I just, I did my time, I did what I had to do, and I just kind of skated out, man, because I knew it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? It was just a lot of politics, a lot of favoritism, things of that nature I saw in the military. So I did my little E1 to E4 time. You know what I'm saying? Got my combat medals. Okay. And came home and fought for disability, man. I didn't want to get into that mix of all the politics of trying to get my stripes and all. It was always some politics. Even just to get my corporal stripes was politics. I'm like, man, I've been in this thing, and I was overseas most of my 3 years I was in. I went from Korea when September 11th happened. I came home to the States and went straight to Iraq 6 months later, and I was there for almost 9 months. So it was like, I did 3 years and spent well over half my time overseas, man. And it was during, tough time in the military. So it was like, I just felt like I had earned that already. And so but it wasn't coming quick enough. So, I made my quiet escape, man. And, there's a lot of politics in the military. It's not just how you work. It's who you know, who's got your back. There's a lot of things that you got to fight within that fight. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I did my time and skated out, man. And I just worried about the rest as I got out and started learning about the benefits that I was able to get and stuff of that nature. Because when I got out, everybody was still overseas and from my units, and it was just really tough to know what I was entitled to. So it took me years to be able to find out I was eligible for the VA. Nobody told me that stuff, man. So,
yeah,
And
Vontae, what about you?
Yeah, so on that aspect, I'm actually the polar opposite of him.
Okay.
I can admit that I actually I kind of got comfortable with the lifestyle. I kind of got comfortable into believing that this country actually cared about me. I started off enlisted, you know what I'm saying? I started off as an enlisted soldier, and then I commissioned. I became an NCO, non-commissioned, and then I actually made E6. I made a staff sergeant rank, and then I decided, you know what I'm saying, I wanted to go ahead and do officer stuff. So, so I commissioned. I went to college, I commissioned, I did that. And I really believed in the Army values. I really believed in what this country stood for. Like, I really did. I really thought that all of these holidays and everything that I celebrated and everything that I believed in and the American flag that I wore was really for me. Like, I really did. And so I went full-fledged into it. And, I was like, I'm going to make a career out of this. I'm going to get 20 years out of this and give back to the nation that provided for me. Yeah. But as I started to go through my situation, and I have to tell you, when I went through my situation, it was before the Black Lives Matter movement. This was before George Floyd. This was before Breonna Taylor. Like, for me, I started to go through my own personal battle way before any of this stuff happened. So me in the military had been fighting about my musical career ever since 2019. So when that happened, like that kind of opened my eyes. That made me realize that, all of these holidays, everything that I believe in and what I went overseas for and fought for, could have potentially died for, lost friends for. Wow. This isn't for me. This isn't for my culture. This isn't for where I grew up from. This isn't what we fought for. This is for the country, for individuals who live here of Caucasian descent. We're fighting and we believe in stuff that you all believe in. So when I went through my own personal battle, man, because I was deployed, I went to Iraq, and I'm still very close to a lot of individuals that are in the military right now. So, what I'm saying, I still have a tie to the military that is very deep, near and dear to my heart, to the veterans and everybody who I served with, and individuals who would lay their life on the line for me that are Caucasian and other races. Yeah. But the overall gist of this country is the politics, like he was saying. Like for me, like I definitely got involved in the politics of it. And from what I saw when I was while I'm still in, they literally want you to give your soul. They want you to give up everything that you believe in to conform to the belief that, hey, this country is for you and everything that we do here is for the American people as a whole. But that is not so, because you take, for instance, a general or a colonel or something like that in the military, somebody of high ranking that comes from their traditional version of a Caucasian background, looking at me as an upcoming officer of somebody who champions where I come from, what I believe in. Yeah. Keep in mind, we're all Americans. We did not grow up around the same background, but somehow I rose through the mud and came up out of my adversity and was able to make a name for myself wanted to champion and wanted to bring forth the ideas that, you know, hey, even though we come out of the slums, and even though that, you know what I'm saying, I got a lot of bad stuff where I'm from as a minority, you can make it to where I'm at too and do what I'm doing. That was not welcomed, as I can say, in corporate America, as far as my military aspect go. And I know that the country is going through a situation right now where they are battling police reform, but I'm leading the spearhead on military reform, because even though when Donald Trump was in office, you know, a lot of the racial tensions that were in America that was just sitting kind of dormant kind of came to light. Military tried to distance themselves from Donald Trump, saying, hey, we support diversity and everybody who serves our country. But that is not the case. The only reason why they're able to get away with that is because civilians are not familiar with military law. And so for me, as being an officer and being a minority, I know what that looks like. And I'm not scared to speak up. The reason why I'm not scared to speak up is because I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't have any ties to anything other than what I was doing with this country as a service member, and as I was doing as an artist for the culture and for my people where I come from. And I served, and I served both, and I did it well. So for me, the situation that lies at hand is for me to come forward and not be scared to tell the American people and tell everybody who lives in this country that, hey, even though you guys are trying to fight for police reform, there's also some reform that needs to take place within our military. Because I faced it. I'm going through it. I'm getting out, but this is not for me because I'm gone. I'm going to be out. This is for the individuals who are serving, who still believe in that everything that the military stands for in the United States is for you. And that's not the case, because as soon as you start trying to branch out,
not at all,
and you start trying to champion where you come from, you're gonna be castricized. You're gonna be singled out. And if you don't have the guts, or you don't have the money to stand behind you and your movement, you're just gonna be thrown to the wayside. And for me, I felt like this was the perfect opportunity for me to come forward, not have fear, and put everything that I've ever worked for, my 17-year career working for this military, this Army, this U.S. Army, on the line to get some reform and get some justice for individuals who are going to be in after me. Because if it's like that, then we need this is a topic that needs to be brought to the forefront. And I think every individual earns the right to have that, because there's nowhere else in the world where countries castricize and single out individuals in their country for just champion what they do. This is the only country, because we're the United States. We're supposed to be united. Right. United meaning there's a whole bunch of different diversity in here that all has a common goal of representing the United States. But that is not the case, because if you don't stand for a specific race and beliefs, you automatically get singled out. And so I decided to stand up and come forward about it.
Right. So let's talk about when that video was on Worldstar. It went on Worldstar, and then it just started getting traction, right?
So with the so when my label released in 2018, I released 2 singles, you know, and the military knew that I was doing music, but I don't think that they really paid attention to it.
Yeah.
More or less, you know, saying, hey, he's doing music. We're going to leave him alone. That's cool. He's doing it on his off time. Ain't no problem. Right.
Well, there's a lot. I know a lot of artists personally, and where I'm in the area I live in the military area. There's a lot of military artists. Like, so, you know, I can see where you say they don't really pay attention too much to it, but if you start building that name up, they're gonna start watching. Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem, because when my single "Turn Off the Lights" released, and I actually made a music video behind it, and it hit Worldstar, my other 2 singles that I had released before, which was called "The Plug" and "Brands," released before, never heard anything about it. There was never any issue. When "Turn Off the Lights" released, never heard any issue. But when the video dropped, that's when there was an issue. When I dropped the video and it hit Worldstar and it got so many different, so many likes, so many plays.
Yeah.
There was one time I was just relaxing in my house, and I started to get a lot of Facebook messages from people that I was in the unit with.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, bro, I just saw your video for Turn Off the Lights, man. That thing is nice. I love it. Like, you did your thing on that one." Right. I automatically knew once I started getting messages from majors and lieutenant colonels, people of high ranking.
Yeah.
Then I knew that the boss saw it. And I knew once the boss saw it, I knew I was going to be standing on the carpet. I already knew that. I knew that. I knew once I saw the messages, the first thing that came to my mind wasn't, "Oh man, they really love my video." I knew that once officers in the military saw it, then I knew that I was going to be on the carpet from an old, you know what I'm saying, Caucasian lieutenant colonel or colonel at that, you know, colonel general at that point, you know what I'm saying? So I was already expecting it, but I was hoping I was going to be able to fight that and able to show him, you know what I'm saying, that I'm not doing anything but showing you that I'm just champion where I come from. We live in the United States. I went to this nation and fought and everything like that, but none of my music had ever talked about anything political. I never referenced anything as far as the military goes. I never down talked the military in any of my music. I never had promoted my music on post. Everything that I did was on my off time. It wasn't interfering with my job. So I was trying to figure out what is the problem. Right. The problem is that it's hip hop.
Because I've seen the video. Turn Off the Lights. I mean, I describe it as probably a party song. I mean, it didn't have any. It's not like you like, you know, have any gang affiliations, or you singing like, you know, like Fuck the Bloods, or like you're running around with army guns. You know, it was just kind of like, you know, it's just a party vibe. You know, club. So I don't really understand why it's a problem.
Right. So when I was given my charge in the military, which we call that an Article 15. So civilians are probably not.
So they gave you an Article 15?
Yeah.
What was their reasoning? I'm just curious.
In Article 15, for civilian standards, for people who are not in the military, is equivalent to being charged with something like a misdemeanor in the civilian world. So, like, if you get like a DUI, or you get like some kind of charge like stalking or something like that. So it's equivalent to a misdemeanor charge in the civilian world. But what an Article 15 does is, instead of actually going to court and actually sitting in front of a judge and pleading your case, the military handles that in-house. They handle that in the military, on the military channels. So as opposed to having a judge, you have a post commander, or you have a company commander, or you have somebody who's in charge that acts as the judge. Okay. And then you have your defense system, which is traditionally, unless you pay for it, provided to you by what we call in the military called trial defense services, which they provide you with a lawyer, you know, with no expenses for you to be able to present your case and be able to show, hey, I didn't do this wrong, or I did do this wrong. Now, if you elect to have what we call in the military called a court-martial is equivalent to civilian court to standards. Court-martial is like, you'll go to court, you'll be either found guilty or not guilty, and then you'll have official charges pressed against you. And Article 15 is more on the lower standards of like something below a court-martial or civilian court, because everything that happens to you in an Article 15 stays in the military. I strategically picked, because I had the option to go court-martial or Article 15. I picked Article 15 because I didn't want my music career and everything that I stood for to be at jeopardy in the event that I was found guilty of something that was felonious. So I picked
which is they'll easily try to make something of it.
Oh yeah,
and they can get away with it. Trust
me,
I've been there too.
So instead of picking a court-martial, I picked Article 15 because I wanted to present this case to the Army and our military leaders to show them that this is just a clear case of discrimination and that it should be thrown out. And the reason why I picked Article 15 over court-martial is because if I get found guilty in an Article 15, it's going to be easier for me to be able to maneuver myself around those findings, as opposed to a court-martial and they find me guilty, then those are actual charges that will be pressed against me. that are equivalent to a civilian going to court. So when I got found guilty in an Article 15, I decided to come forward with the Public Affairs Office, which we call the military PAO, if people aren't familiar with that. And I took the entire Article 15 document, released it to the PAO office, and told them I have intentions of giving that to the news crews, the local news crews, and anybody else who was wanting to interview me. They just redacted information, took out personal information of individuals who was in the military, and then I took that packet. Okay, cool. You want to give me an Article 15? I'm gonna take that Article 15 and I'm gonna give that to the public, so the American people need to see what y'all are doing here. Okay. So I somehow I knew that the Article 15 wasn't gonna go in my favor, but I wanted to give the leaders that I had trusted in, that I served under, the opportunity to say, hey, this is some BS. Throw this out. This ain't nothing.
All right. Well, so what was it? What was it, like a code of conduct?
Right.
So something?
So I was charged with 3 charges. The 3 charges was, first charge was conduct unbecoming of an officer. Okay. Second charge was publicly appearing in a music video that brought discredit upon myself in the U.S. Army, and refusing or disobeying a direct order to take my music video off of the internet. Third charge was making money outside of the military without proper approval. Those were the 3 charges originally. Now, when it went in front of the general, making money outside of the military without proper approval got thrown out because it was for a hobby. Did it on my off time. I was just doing it because this was something I was after. It wasn't something that I was making money for. Mm-hmm. So that got thrown out. Publicly appearing in a music video that brought discredit upon myself in the U.S. Army, we fought in court. How? I didn't know how that related. We brought cases forward about that. And like I said, all of this was at discretion of a general. The second one was disobeying a direct order to remove a music video. First of all, like I had submitted my whole entire Article 15 and all of the documents that had in it, there was never any official order to take my music video down. And even so, even if it was an order, I don't have access to WorldStar. I don't work for WorldStar. I don't work for YouTube. I don't work for Spotify and Tidal. I don't work for these companies. If you guys know a way for me to take my music down, you tell me, because I don't know. Like, I don't know. You're telling me to take something down that I don't have access to anymore. So I got charged with that. And then after the Article 15 closed, they tried to recharge me for, okay, General said you're guilty of not taking your video down. You have, I think they gave me like a week to take the video down. Well, just because he charged me guilty still doesn't mean that I know how to take the video down. I still don't know how it takes down. You, as a leader, should provide me with the assets to tell me how to take my video down. Since you're charging with me, as us in the military say, we never ask our subordinates to do what we can't do ourselves. So if you can't tell me how to take it down, don't give me an order to take it down. And I don't work for Spotify and YouTube and Tidal and all of those. So when that kind of happened, the company commander reached out to my YouTube handler to ask him to take the music video down. And my YouTube handler told him, fuck you. I don't work for the military. This video is making us money. So pretty much, that was just like a double-edged sword on that one. So, they tried to take my money and tried to, so the Article 15 charged me with taking my funds. They tried to take my money and put that in my permanent record. That's what the Article 15 held. And then they tried to stop me from being able to launch a med board in order to do that from my medical retirement. But doctor said otherwise. I had to go through a whole nother asset of to the story, but I'm gonna get into that as we move forward.
Yeah, because
and none of that surprises me, to be honest with you. I mean, I already know how it goes with those people, man. That's coming out of the military, then you go through a whole nother battle. Yeah. If you don't have any documentation while you're in the military, and you try to get any kind of compensation for issues that are furthering past your military time, it's very hard to get disability through the VA. It's crazy because, like I said, I was in field artillery, and man, I lifted 100-pound rounds for years. I'm talking about years, and in combat situations. I mean, I was young. I probably weighed about as much as those rounds did, and I was lifting thousands and thousands and thousands of these things day after day after day. And so, you know, but I was physically fit back then because, you know, the military regiment keeps you physically fit. And, you know, I wasn't feeling it when I was young. But as I started getting older, man, my neck's deteriorating at a rapid pace. I'm getting diagnosed with deterioration in my neck, all my neck, spine bones and everything's I have no cartilage left. I'm like 26 years old getting diagnosed with stuff. And I'm like, man,
wow.
But I have no record of it in the military. So they're like, oh, well, we can't say this military related. Well, that's all I've done. I haven't done any other kind of job where I was lifting like that since then. So it's like, it's wear and tear, man. So, my battle's been, you know, dealing with the VA and medical records. And the only thing they did finally give me about 4 years after I got out was PTSD. And everybody that I served with that had got out after me got 100% off the rip. And I was literally with these guys in the same battles. They wrote buddy letters for me. They basically told the VA, like, man, look, dude, I'm a decorated combat veteran. I've got the medals. Like, VA wasn't hearing it. They gave me 50%. They told me I was halfway messed up. They wouldn't give me 100%. I'm like, how do you have PTSD and you only tell me that I've only got it halfway?
Wow.
Right.
Like, if you're gonna compensate me for having to deal with it every day of my life. Where's my 100% at, man? Like, and I fought appeal after appeal after appeal. I went almost 10 years, man, before I got from 50 to 70. They gave me 70 back in like the end of 2018. I got 20% bump, which was nice, but I'm still fighting these people. Like, I literally, to be honest with you, I hired some help here recently because there's some people within the system that know the system and know how to get it done. And so I finally, just recently, I came to the conclusion, it's like, I got to do something about this, man, because you know, I'm pushing 40 now. I've been out for, you know, since 2004. So, you know, 16, 17 years now. I'm pushing 40. I got a lot of health issues, man. Like, it's preventing me from doing what I've needed to do to survive since I've been out of the military. Like, the music just keeps my brain in line. You know what I mean? Like, that's my release. So, you know, it's not always been money with the music. Don't get me wrong. I've traveled with it and I've done shows. I've put events together. I've done a lot of stuff with music. But for me, I do it more for the passion because it helps me get through my day because of all the other things I got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's been my battle since I've been out, you know, is trying to get the government to take care of what they're supposed to take care of, man, because I took care of my part. I did my part.
Yeah.
I got out honorably, you know, and I almost didn't because like I said, I went through my Article 15 phase too. When I came back from Iraq, I went AWOL for 30 days because they were treating us real bad with rear detachment when we came back. And I told them, people, you ain't gonna treat us like that. You guys didn't even go over there. Like, it was crazy, man. And I fought it, you know what I'm saying, until they finally just signed me off and said, go about your way, man. And, you know, but there's anything dealing with our government and you not complying with them, it's going to be a battle, man. It's what they want at the end of the day. And not what you want, it's what they want and how they figure it's going to be. And that's why I say a lot of what you're saying, bro, it doesn't surprise me because I've seen it firsthand. Like, I understand, man. It's crazy, bro. Like, you can't even be successful as a person unless it's under their guidelines.
The difference is that they actually picked, some people would say they picked the wrong nigga. I would say you picked the right nigga. You picked the right one. I'm not married. I ain't got no kids. I ain't got nothing but time on my hand and the dedication and the memories that I have from my battle buddies that served with me in order to fight this fight. So you pick somebody to go after that I ain't got nothing but time. Yeah. I ain't got nothing but time, and I'm smart and I'm educated and I got this. I know what needs to be done because my job field is military intelligence. This is what I do.
I respect
this is what I do day in and day out. Oh yeah. So, you know, what happened was, you know what I'm saying, when I was going through what I was going through, the military went through an extensive background check of me. They reached out to individuals that I served with. They reached out to family members and friends. They scoured through my social media. They scoured through my Instagram, took snapshots of my YouTube, all of that stuff to kind of try to solidify the fact that I guess they were trying to solidify the fact that I have control over all of this stuff that's going on with my musical career. But one thing that the military doesn't know, because most of the members in the military who are high ranking, all they know is the military. All they know is how the military operates. You get cut a check on the 1st, and you get cut a check on the 15th. And you go to work, and you do your job that the military tells you to do. But what they don't know is how the civilian world works. And how the civilian world works, especially if you're talking about entertainment and music industry, there's something called investors. And there's something called handlers, which military doesn't know. I have people who handle my social media accounts. I don't handle all of those. I don't see everything that happens. So when they were trying to pinpoint stuff that was going on with my musical career, they was like, hey, look, you see, he's got control over this because we see him doing this and that. Like something like the cane. The cane was given to me by my by the orthopedics doctor, but it was given to me on a need-by-need basis. Okay. Sometimes I need my cane. Sometimes I don't. During my music video shoots, I don't need the cane, so I put the cane away. I muster through the pain of having problems with my knee in order to be able to perform my music video for the image. So they try to say, you know, stuff like, yeah, you see right here, he's in his music video and he's got our own post when we see him when he's on military organizations, he has a cane, but when he's in his music video, he ain't got one. Well, the cane wasn't given to me to say that the cane was for me permanently. The cane was given to me to say that I can use it as needed. And I'm not going to wear a music video. Yeah. You know, so I didn't pick up my cane during my music video because I wanted my music video to not have a cane in it. So I didn't have a cane. Regardless of whether or not you believe that I'm in pain or not, my medical records say otherwise. And so just like you, bro, like you said, like you didn't have the paperwork to support your claims. I absolutely 100% believe everything that you say that happened to you and what you're going through. But what I try to teach the younger soldiers and what I try to teach people before me is that when you come into the military in basic training and they're so out, if there is anything going on with you, anything,
go in.
You get that documented.
You have
get it documented. You get a paper trail behind you because if the military is going to F you in the rear end, if I can say, you know what I'm saying, F you in the rear end, at least you have your medical documentation to show that you actually have these issues. Don't be afraid to go to sick call. Do not be afraid to talk to your doctor. If
you're absolutely right. A lot of my issue is that, you know, I wasn't in a position where most of the time I was having some issues where they actually had a sick call set up, to be honest. When I was in Iraq, that I was going through hell, my neck and back, but I was dealing with it. I did what I had to do. Didn't have a sick call set up out there, dude. We were living out of our vehicles the first 6 months, like literally, like
right.
We were moving around every day from point A to point B to point C back to A. I mean, we were all day long dodging mortars, dodging IEDs all day long. You know what I'm saying? And there was nowhere I could just say, you know what, dude? Hey, my back's hurting, man. I need to go see the doc. They weren't keeping documentation of that stuff out there. And then when I came back home, there was what, like one doctor on the whole post? They didn't even give me an outgoing physical. They just went, and then I was out.
Right.
You know, so it's you have to keep documentation. I absolutely agree. Anything, any kind of issue, just go in.
And
I would do the same. I say the same to people that I know. Dude, if you got
and I don't say that. I don't say that to try to run game on the VA or try to run game on DOD, Department of Defense. I don't say that to tell anybody that that you know what I'm saying, you should document everything, you know, from a cough and everything like that. But if you got legitimate issues that's going on with you need to document that stuff. You need to take it down, because just like you faced in the military when you got out, when you get out, it's gonna be a fight. It's going to be a fight if you don't have the documentation to back it, and your military personnel who are over you at the time are not going to support you on it. They're not going to support
you. And I had support when I got out. Like I said, I had NCOs that were still in the military writing letters for me to the VA saying, look, man, he served with me. We were in this situation. Dude, I know guys in the military that got PTSD in the military.
Right. Wow.
And I still can't get it from the VA. They still act like it ain't enough. It's crazy.
So they might not support me because I've been a thorn in their side, because, you know what I'm saying, I won't be quiet and I've been doing these interviews. And the fact that they try to shut me down, because I think when they came after me, they thought that maybe I was a local artist or maybe I didn't have a huge following. Right. The point of the matter is that when the military came after me for my musical career, I already had a fan base of over 100,000 people follow me on Instagram. I had thousands of people follow me on YouTube and Twitter, and I was already established. Right. So for you guys to come after me, I guess they must have thought that I was going to be quiet about it because somehow I was in fear of my job or something like that. But
no, they'll absolutely use scare tactics, man. It's part of the business. It's like how they interrogate overseas when they're in combat situations. It's scare tactics.
My pride and everything that I stood for oversaw all of that. At the end of the day, I'm chanting Von Taylor, you know, Von T for the fans, but I stand on my name. And so when they came after me about that, I felt like that was the opportunity, and that was my obligation to come forward about what's going on with my situation. Damn the fear, damn, you know, all of these threats that you guys are giving me about my career. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to come forward for the American people and my minority, the minorities, Black, white, Hispanic, whatever, abroad, because I feel like this fight that I'm in is bigger than just me as an artist myself. I don't care if you like my music, but for individuals who are coming up who believe in what this country is built on, I believe that they need to have this exposure for them. So if I need to be the martyr for that, like I'm willing to do that, just because I feel like that's my obligation as an artist. That's my way of giving back from the success that I have achieved in my musical career. So
that's dope, man, and I respect it, bro. On my end, I respect it, man, because it's a fight, man. Anytime you're dealing with those people, it's a fight, man. It's you got to muster it up, man, and just soldier it out like they want you to soldier it out, just to be you. Yeah. I respect it, bro.
And it's crazy to watch as an outsider, you know, someone who hasn't been in the war, to like just see both you guys, like, you know, the situation. It's pretty sad, man. But
this country's built on a lot of BS, man. It just is what it is, man. It's coming to light little by little, though, and people are waking up little by little. And I've noticed that over the last few years, couple years, man, 2-3 years. People are really starting to wake up, man. It's
bro. That's why I feel like that's my obligation. This is my calling. Like, regardless of whether or not I wanted to tie my military experience to my music or not, this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Regardless of whether or not I didn't want it to happen, this is where I'm supposed to be making history. This is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm very comfortable where I'm at right now.
Right.
The military is the reason why I fight the way that I fight today. The military taught me a lot of great tactics that I'm using to my benefit to this day. It taught me the discipline. It taught me the fortitude to keep fighting. It taught me everything that I know now. It taught me how to use the military to pay for school, all of that stuff. Even though that's not why I joined, I definitely benefited from the benefits that the military gave me for tuition assistance and paying for school and all of that stuff. That I did, but yeah, when I went through what I went through, you know what I'm saying, I was like, you pretty much created the perfect weapon, because I could have been your best friend or your worst enemy, and y'all chose the latter. So like I said, the situation that I was going through never stopped me from the music. I just released my first album. It had released April 2nd. And my music career is budding right now. Like in my hometown, I'm nominated for an award for one of the aspiring artists coming forward. That's in August 28th. I just released a track, like you said, with Ty Dolla $ign. I got one coming with Travis Scott. I released one that just released this month with Kid Kern, which is a upcoming artist out of California. I'm involved in acting. I'm acting in Hollywood. I'm in the Netflix series. I performed at the Indie Hip Hop Awards for BET in 2019 in California and in Atlanta. So I didn't let this situation stop my creativity. I kept going forward because if the music is what they came after me for, then I wanted the music to be able to stand for itself as well, because I am upset. You know what I'm saying? But it's unfortunate that this happened, but this is actually the reality of the country that we live in. So I do see, a therapist. I do see, you know what I'm saying, my psychological doctor about everything that I'm going through and everything that I went through when I was deployed.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I do the same thing, bro.
Right.
I do the same
you know what I'm saying?
thing.
They coach me. I'm on medication. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? I admit, you know what I'm saying, I'm on medication. Yeah, I was fucked up when I deployed. That's because I was fighting for something that I believed in. I believed in July 4th. I believed in Memorial Day. I believed in this stuff. Like, I really believed in everything that I was fighting for. I believe when I went to Iraq and could have died, like I was doing this for a country that cared about me. So now that my energy has shifted towards equality for all. That's what I fight for now. So that, you know, the energy is still there. It's just not in the same department no more. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, well, Hob Hustle, man. Let's end this. So, any last words?
Hey, man, I salute you. I respect everything you're moving for, man, and doing. And, you know, I'm blessed to be here today, be able to even just say a little bit of my story as well. But I see what you're going through, bro, because I've seen it for myself, and I commend you for your strength and moving forward with what you're trying to do, man. I think that's an amazing thing. And, you know, I salute you for it, bro.
The only notes that I would have, you know what I'm saying, the only thing that I would say is that, you know what I'm saying, don't be scared to follow your dream, you know, if you live in this country, because it's definitely as a service member, because as the name stands itself, you know, in the United States of America, the only country that has so many different backgrounds and so many different individuals come together, and we see that through the movement that we're in right now. Don't be scared to come forward. I have a Facebook group that has about, you know, almost 6,000 members about discrimination against me personally. But when you share this story, anybody who has a discrimination story that's happened to them in the military, you know, feel free to type in Facebook, you know, Von T faces discrimination in the military for pursuing a hip hop career. That's the name of the group.
Okay.
Share your story, because there's people that's in that group that share their stories of similar discrimination cases. And you can use me as a like button. You can use me as the forefront in the face that's going to fight this fight head on.
Sure.
And even though my role in change and equality in America is small, it's actually pretty big, because I'm actually, you know, facing the biggest gang in the United States, which is the U.S. Army, and I'm doing it by myself. I'm doing it with my small team that I got. So let my story be a beacon. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the pressure silence you, bro. Like, keep going out there and keep grinding, keep fighting for what you believe in, because at the end of the day, if you know that what you're doing is right, then you know what I'm saying, truth prevails, and your story will be heard. You know what I'm saying? So
perfect, man. Perfect ending. And I'll drop all the social media handles on my the video, so everybody can go check you guys out. Cool. Thank you for your service.
Straight up.
And I'll be in touch.
Straight up.
All right, man.
On team, man. Keep it moving, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, got it. Yeah, you too, bro. Like, salute to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, keep pushing, bro. Like, I'm proud of you too, man. Like, keep the fight up. You know what I'm saying? Keep it up.
That's all we know, bro. That's all we know.